The idea, the title of the presentation is Peace Trajectories, Experimental Evidence from the Post-Conflict and Migration in Colombia. The expression trajectories is a game of words because I'm gonna show you how we can study belief, perceptions, transfer, economic transfers that are made among between conflict actors, but under a very particular methodology, which is analyzing the trajectory of people when making that decision. When you're making a decision, for example, you go to the supermarket, you want to buy a cereal, and you see a lot of options, and you have your two favorite cereals in front of you. One might reach for one, but maybe shift to the other one. So the idea is that this decision making process, the choice process, we may access that process with the motor information that we have. And how do we have motor information when we conduct these surveys? Usually in these peace studies, we conduct surveys whereby we ask people certain things and we always request them to ask discreetly, but we ask them to answer to those same questions of a traditional survey. Might be questions about beliefs or economic behavior questions, but they will answer through a pad on their phone or tablet or in their PC with the mouse. This is based on a lot of work that's been done in cognitive sciences. So the basic idea is that our body expression are showing the internal processes that led to that decision. That's the general idea. This is the general model, more or less, what happens inside the brain when we make a decision. At the end, what we see is that the biomechanical plant, our movement in, we're analyzing the motion with in the tablets or with the mouse, but behind that motion, you see what's on the left, which is our brain somehow needs to assess the utility of objectives, and based on that usefulness, it makes a choice, and that's what we see in our motion or motor movement. The $1 million question is how do we capture this motion? And the answer is just not the discrete answer 1 to 10. How much from 1 to 10 do you believe the FARC member is inhuman? We can do that discretely, but we can do it continuously as well. And there's many ways to do it. We can use infrared markers or more elaborate tools such as tracking using cameras and using an AI algorithm to recognize where the body parts are. We did something less elaborate, just with the mouse. We do mouse tracking or finger tracking if a laptop or if a phone or tablet was used. The main reason to do it like this um, we're checking the slides. So this is more like natural behavior of a human being. That's the basic idea of gathering these measurements and to have a window towards the potential cognitive processing that it's undergoing. This will gives us greater external validity. It allows us to test new behaviors and formulate new questions. All right, so this type of measurements are closer to naturalistic or natural measures. Naturalistic, we can even talk about it in implied terms. This gives us access to implied computations. It's hard when I answer. This person is not such a human. 1 to 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, one may. The person move first towards the 10. So these measurements provides additional data and allow us to test new questions. So today I wanted to show you two cases, two studies that we've conducted. We don't have that much time, so just gonna skip, go ahead to the second one. But the first one, we did a study on undergrads with tablets. They also had the same tablets. The second one was a bit more challenging because it was on a national level. We had no control over the device. We just sent them a link to answer the survey at a national level, and they could use any device, laptop, mouse, tablet, mobile phone. So this was the first one. This was about conflict. It's not live yet. I think it needs to wait. So in this second study, what we did was a survey at a national level. So we sent people a link, and this was about media treatment. We showed them different videos, and the idea behind showing these videos was to see if we were able to improve their trust towards migrants, in this case Venezuelan migrants. And the videos, we had four. Some people didn't see videos, others saw tourism videos, others saw a former FARC video, which is the one that was shown. If you attended this morning, you might remember that video. But these were just interviews with former combatants who told their stories, how they. And the other video was the same one, interviews, but with Venezuelan migrants. So we showed them those videos, depending on their group. And after seeing those videos, or not seeing a video, they answered a questionnaire that had a lot of questions, including perception questions like dehumanization, meta-humanization, also political ideology, trust in institutions, but also traditional behavioral economic questions, for example, trust and to distribution games. So the purpose was if with this media intervention we were able to shape first the transfers that were done on these games. If you don't know these economic games, I'm going to explain the dictator. What we do is we have one person, we give that person money, not so much money, but 100,000 pesos, for example, $30, and that person needs to decide if that person wants to transfer some to the other person. So I'll give you 100,000 person, and these people are anonymous, they don't know. But imagine I give you 100. Do you wanna give this money? You wanna transfer someone out there in the street? How much do you wanna transfer? And we change people. The other people doesn't have any characteristic. The other person is a migrant. The other person is a former combatant. The other person is an internally displaced person or a victim of internal displacement. So that was the this measured altruism, because the transfer is at my expense because I need to transfer. And depending on the characteristic of the other person, the question is if the video treatment is going to affect my transfer. And the trust game is similar, but now the second player has a power. I'll give you 100,000 pesos. If you transfer money to the other person is going to receive that money, is going to be multiplied by 3. And that other person now has the power to return part of the money. So if I transfer 100,000, I got 100,000, I transfer 100 to the other person and it's multiplied by 300 by 3, so the other person will have 300,000 and the other person might decide if that person returns something. That's why it's about trust. Because if the other person is reliable, what the best I can do is to transfer the whole 100,000 because that person will have 300,000 and will might give me back 150,000. But it's a trust game or a confidence game, a trust game because the other one might say no, I won't give anything back, and the other one might be a citizen without any specific characteristic, a migrant, a former FARC combatant, or a victim of internal displacement. So what we wanted to see if after showing these videos of FARC and of migrants, these transfers changed, these monetary transfers changed. These are the 3 games. So the hypothesis is that these videos have an effect on hypothesis and modified transfers on these behavioral games. So in the trust game, I'm gonna transfer more because I trust more on the other migrant. That's the whole idea. Here I'm showing that in general the sample that we took, it was 869 persons randomly assigned to each video. One group is no video. These are all the questions that we asked. These are the videos. That's tourism, that's the control group. Here's a tourism video about the coffee region. These are interviews with former FARC members, and this other video about migrants. So we split that 800 that sample randomly, and also a group that we didn't show them any video. And the hypothesis was that the videos were going to increase empathy and thereby increase trust, measured on using the trust game, the game of trust. This is the chart. If you see a star, you see that there are differences, that the distribution of categories, but if you want to just trust me, is relatively well leveled. There are some differences, for example, in the size of the mobile device, but no other significant differences. Some of type of house were different, but other than that, most variables are not different. So this is what people saw. People put their finger or their mouse, depending on the device that they were using, and they had to decide how much to transfer to the other person. And we use tokens, so 0 tokens, and those tokens could be later exchanged for money reward, which were called chorus, which they were able to change them at stores for real objects. And these were transferred that were actually going to have an impact on people.
So if you decided to transfer the other, I mean, you had less money, less. But the essential thing is that now the transmission, I mean, I'm sorry, the decision was continuously transmitted. This is the way the data looks. So this is example of a particular shift of one person. The blue line is the path this particular person went through when they were playing that game of distribution. But here the person moved to number one when they were playing with an IDP. So before, let me explain. Here, what we are going to do is a simple regression, a lot of details. We're just going to see if actually the betas you see up there, we are interested in seeing if Yeah, if the video is important to see this, but here what we are going to analyze is the movement. Tomorrow Angela is going to present the results of transferences as such, some interesting results, but here I will focus on the transference. We're going to see if these videos actually affected what is the choice process. So we are under the assumption that the characteristics of movement are reflecting that actually my cognitive processing changed. So we want to see if these videos change the cognitive process without the aid of some resonance and making the inference that actually the changes here affect my cognitive processing. So here we're going to analyze is how much they deviate of the mean speed, their mean speed. When a person says kind of video, and what we are interested here in the interaction video actor, we want to see if the migrant video affected stronger my movement when I had to decide towards the migrant, or when those who saw the FARC video changed more the movement when was the participant receiving the transference was a former FARC member. I forgot to tell that everybody went through all the participants. So all of them had to say how much they transferred to FARC, to migrants, to the displaced, and how much to a citizen without these characteristics. The first thing that I show is that the model is significant. This maybe if you wanna move, this is the game of a dictator. This is what people saw, but again, this is a summary. It has 5 tops, how much they transfer to person 2, and person 2 could have these characteristics: education, high school, socioeconomic class 1, 2, or 3, and this is what we changed in the screenshot. And they all saw that is in this order. There was no any other additional characteristic: IDP, by balance, ex-FARC, or migrant, how much they transfer. So this, what we see here, I am showing the probability. Here we do this Bayesian regression because allows us to have a posterior progressions, not just one, but here we test all the possibilities. Here we see those who saw the migrant video, what's the probability for them to be faster. When here what we see is dictator, video, migrant, all of these are about the migrant video, and here what we see is the agent they were transferring. Ex-FARC Refu is the IDP, and Meg is the Venezuelan migrant. So what we were seeing here, if you see this shade, it becomes smaller and smaller. So what does that mean? I'm sorry, that the video of migrants was more successful when people needed to make the transference to migrants successful, in the sense that they hesitated. The possibility to be faster than the mean speed was lower in the migrant video with migrants. So when they saw the video of migrants, they moved slower. That's evidence that it seems that these videos may affect some of the cognitive process. The same thing happened with the former FARC. It's the same pattern, but now the last one here is former FARC. Right here, migrant. Once again, they are slower when they have to transfer to a former FARC member. What they didn't saw the video is that we're passive. We had this active, that is the tourism, is this one. And if you wanna move to the next one, and if we compare these possibilities directly with the no video, it might seem that if you compare these two, the probability here, Venus lowers 22, 29. So here the treatment, the video of migrants, even compared to a new treatment, it's more likely for them to become slower with the migrant video. The same thing with the former FARC, but with the former FARC it's not so clear compared with the no video. So we can continue. So the model was significant. We can continue. So here I remind you, you have 3 tokens. How much did it signed, and then and to send back to player 1. If I had to trust player 2, is the same design. So what we have is the same pattern. The video of migrants reduces a little bit more the possibility of a faster when I am going to trust a migrant. So again, this evidence that this video seems to be changing the cognitive processing. With the former FARC, the same thing happens. The probability of being faster reduces with the former FARC video, and here we can um, have with the none, and this is more interesting with the second. And this was stronger in the because these probabilities of being faster are comparing with the control treatment. Here is just what we do. It's a comparison, and this is a clearer. If you don't see a video, the probability of moving faster with migrants is 88%, but with the video of migrants that goes down to 34, and there it's a 62, 61, 82, 61. So the videos do have an effect about how people moves towards the decision they make. So the basic idea is that is showing the trajectories as a window to potential changes to internal processing to our brain does. So here we don't have a resonance, we have phones and touch screens, so it's like a window. The videos, the $1 million question is what that slowing down means. I don't know how to say that. Yeah, slowing down. So the $1 million question is what that means. We think that what is changing is what we wanted to change. They move slower because it changed my perception. And one possibility is that I am more empathetic to the other, and that's why I increase my trust. Tomorrow, Angela is gonna show you that these videos change the monetary transferences that was quite interesting. But then these videos, what they are changing is internal processing. Thank you.